What's up, everyone? I'm Adam, and I collect sports stuff. Today, I want to talk about people who are very important and sometimes controversial to the hobby, and those are street graphers. These are the individuals that will go to airports, that will go to hotels, maybe hang out outside of practices, maybe hang out outside of nightclubs and restaurants, and hope for one of their favorite players to come out. Now, usually these are high-profile athletes because, let's be real, you don't waste that kind of time and energy on people that are not as desirable or not as famous or not as um, hard to get, let's say. So for me, I'm generally okay with street graphers. Of course, you don't want anybody to be overly aggressive. You don't want anybody to be stalking an athlete. You don't want anybody, knocking kids out of the way or just making it an ugly, ugly scene where they have, 50 to 100 items and they try to totally monopolize the athlete's time and turn them off of doing any kind of in-person autograph signings whatsoever. For me, I've only had positive interactions with street graphers. Now, to me, the benefit of them is that they do the dirty work for you. I as much as I enjoy the hobby, I do not have any interest in doing what they do. I don't have any interest in hanging out by hotels, by practice arenas, restaurants, airports, all that stuff. That said, I am totally okay with buying from these individuals. Uh, for me, I like the fact that you can get something that's kind of a one of one from them. In-person autographs are always going to be a little bit different. They're not going to be as clean cut always as the ones you'll buy online at more established retailers and sporting memorabilia companies. But for me, that's okay. Uh, as long as the signature to me looks good and still has a nice placement on the item that's being signed, then I'm all good. Uh, so one of the players I recently targeted was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, I live just down the road from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, which is where Shai kind of grew up and built his reputation as a basketball player. Um, as you can imagine, it's hard to get him. When you are, not in the arena, he's very good at signing in the arena, but I'm not going to OKC anytime soon. Toronto Raptors tickets, my hometown team tickets, are too insane for me to even pay for to get down to the courtside to have a chance at getting a Shai in person. So, nevertheless, I looked out for online opportunities through street graphers. Now, recently ahead of the Olympics, the national team for Canada, had a basketball training camp in which Shai Gilgeous-Alexander appeared at. Now, fortunately, a grapher I follow online, he was on the scene that day. And one afternoon, I saw a post of him on Instagram with Shai signing this photo right here. It's a very nice 8x10 OKC white jersey, beautiful signature placement, nice crisp Sharpie blue, also very important. And I couldn't believe my luck. He had it up for maybe an hour or two, and nobody else had laid claim to it yet. He had it up on eBay for a certain price. He had it up on Instagram for a certain price. And really, with him, I learned that going through him privately for an Instagram purchase was the easiest way. Usually, you would get a better deal that way. As eBay, he was charging in American funds, and he has to give the eBay commissions and all that kind of stuff and pay for different kind of shipping, most likely. So I reached out to him, and within minutes, the deal was done. The e-transfer was sent his way, and within, I don't know, probably a week or so, this wound up in my mailbox and then shortly onto my wall. As you can see in the bottom corner there, it has a JSA sticker. I obtained that a number of months after the fact, even though I was really, really confident that the signature was legit. I saw the video. I was sent other kind of evidence from the individual proving that the autograph was all that it was supposed to be and more. I always get things like this authenticated just for, A, for peace of mind, and B, for way down the road if I ever choose to resell it. Some people would rather buy an authenticated piece than a non-authenticated piece, especially for a player of this caliber whose autographs can go for a lot of money. Now, I've done other deals with this grapher, which I will share with you in future videos that I think are of interest, and also provide you with a further window on how that item came into my possession. But for this one in particular, this was really my first time doing a deal of this nature. Now, it's always important that you trust the dealer that you're talking with. If you get a good vibe from them, you feel like they're being attentive, if you feel like they're being willing to negotiate and are willing to provide evidence and constant communication when it comes to shipping times, how an item is shipped, when it should arrive at your place, all those good kind of details, then you can know that you're probably in good shape with that individual. If you decide to go down this route also, I suggest do your research, make sure that you see enough from this individual to know that they're legit and they're not just signing stuff in their basement. You want to go on their social accounts if they have one and see kind of what their other items are and how they go about providing evidence of what they have. So, like I said, with this gentleman here, he had a video and photographic evidence of Shai signing this photo, and that gave me tons of confidence that this was legit. And he also had a ton of other photos from other athletes that he had obtained at stadiums, outside of practice venues, all kinds of places that athletes in the town of Toronto, would frequent. If you like what you saw here, click the like button, participate in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks and have a good day.